Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here. Now it's November 11th. (2014) and it's around 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the evening Eastern time. I'm sitting on a very wet chair here. We just had a little front move through and temperature's going to start to drop. It's dropped down already from 64 down to 54 here in the last hour. That's alright. It's fall. It's going to be cold. Normally I would be abed right now in the chemo chair, but I'm not. Kind of stewed up. I've been having a fairly intense interaction with Paul. No, not that kind of interaction. That doesn't happen anymore. Happened once, about 2 years ago, but that's been it for the last like 20 some years. Anyway, about his general behavior in the house. Now, I dare say anybody that watches my videos knows that I have a fairly laissez-faire attitude toward how things go on in the house. What I do insist toward me is some degree of courtesy. Well, as I try to extend courtesy to everybody else I encounter and deal with. Well, when I don't get courtesy in return, I really, I become very discourteous. Would probably be the best way to put it. So, Paul and I, later on here, just recently, before I made this video, or I'm making this video, had a bit of a reprise of a discussion we had a few months back. Maybe more than a few months back. About what happens when he retires. Because he's 2 years younger than me, and there's a good chance he may work till he's 70. So I'm 62. He may work for another 10 years, and that's good. That's fine if he wants to do that. And but if you're home and you're retired and you're not going to work, how are you going to behave? Well, one way you don't behave one way you don't behave is sit and look like some sort of stoop and then keep me from looking at stuff I want to look at and do things. So I mean, well, you know, as I said, I had talked with him about this a few months back. I said, you know, we're going to have to figure out a new way to deal with each other, and I'm sure a lot of straight married people have to deal with this too. You know, when one of the people retires and is home, and how they're going to deal with how they deal with each other, and, you know, and manipulate their days. And I said, you know, we're going to have to figure out how to, you know, manipulate the time, and okay. Now I'm sure, you know, and that was that. And then so tonight we sort of reprised that, revisited that, and I said, well, you know, it's all fine. I said, but well, one, I have no intention of him I have no intention of providing him a way to gosh, I mean, there's no good way to say this without me sounding like I'm an asshole. Well, no, it's you know, I gave his folks the place to live, and I gave him a place to live, and although obviously there's more of that than that, you know, clearly, or there was, and oh, I miss that. I sure miss that. I sure miss that. But I miss that. Andrew Johnson, if you're out there, you missed that. Oh well. I may have to actually cut this thing in two here. In any case, I had my say about his behavior, and gosh, I miss this. I do miss this. I said, you know, first thing you gotta do is you gotta stop smoking. Just stop smoking. I mean, just flat out stop smoking. I mean, that's hard. I understand that. That's very hard. And then, you know, now a lot of other, you know, he's got some sort of thing with his prostate, which, well, that's okay. We can deal with that. That's okay. That's okay. We can deal with that. But he won't, you know, he won't talk about this. He won't talk about it. He won't talk about it. He won't talk about it. He should talk about it. There's ways we can work around that. we can work around that. But he's rude. He's very rude. Well, you know, I'm going to heat the food up and watch some food, and then I set out. You know, I moved my computer off the table and set out the sort of the pads for things I might, you know, stew on or spill things on. And then all of a sudden on his side, he just pulls out his earphones and turns the thing on at full blast for about 5 minutes. And I thought, well, screw that. So I just shut down everything, and that was that. I mean, what's the point? I mean, why would he do that? And why, yeah, so. And he said, oh, I wanted to hear it. Well, yeah, well, of course you wanted to hear it. I mean, I wanted to hear the Lord bless you and keep you this morning, and I wanted to play it at the top volume too, but I didn't. I kept my earphones in. I mean, it's just like, it's a courtesy issue. I mean, so there's a significant courtesy issue that, you know, has never been resolved. Well, it's sad. It's just flat out sad sometimes, and but I told him, I said, you know, you just gotta get this thing squared away. Well, now it's starting to rain, so I'm going to go inside. All righty.